Mr. Maurer, I need to go in there and tell your client how to get out of a breakout room?
It's probably, I didn't realize she hadn't come back with me.
Okay. Let me see if I can go in there. Okay, Your Honor.
All right, Susan, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is called 648-384 State of Texas versus Nikita Navarro. I'm sorry, Carissa Nikita Navarro. This is a first amended motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. Representing the state is Mr. Guillermo Flores. Representing the Bexar County CSCD is Ms. Susan Gross, who I remind is still under oath. And representing Ms. Navarro is Mr. Robert Maurer. The first document I need Mr. Navarro and Mr. Maurer to identify their signatures on is entitled Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference. In fact, Ms. Navarro, is this your signature on this document, ma'am? Okay, thank you. Your microphone is turned off, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you. And Mr. Maurer, as attorney for Ms. Navarro, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Next document I have is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, which is marked, quote, is an adjudication of guilt following a deferred adjudication, and the defendant has a limited right of appeal, unquote. Ms. Navarro, is this your signature on this document also, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Maurer, as attorney for Ms. Navarro, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay. My understanding is that this is an uncontested motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. Is that accurate, Mr. Maurer?
It is, Judge.
Okay. Ms. Navarro, in cause 648-384 on the first amended motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. How do you plead, ma'am?
True.
And Ms. Gross, would you please advise the court and the parties of the status of Ms. Navarro's probation?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Navarro has done fairly well in reporting. She did miss 1 month. We last saw her July 28th of 2021. Her case is paid in full. She's completed all 36 hours of her community service, as well as the stress class. She's had 2 positive drug tests, 1 for marijuana, 1 for cocaine, and she failed to submit on 1 occasion. This is her first violation report, first motion to revoke. And as for criminal history, she has a assault bodily injury family pending, which occurred prior to probation. Her officer is recommending that she go through the CAT-SNP program, weekly drug testing, and show substantial compliance within the 30 days. And just for the court's information, this case does expire September 21st of 2021. If the court wishes to go along with the probation officer's recommendation, her probation will need to be extended so that we can accommodate the course length of the CAT-SNP program.
The original offense for this case is a criminal mischief 100 to 750. Mr. Maurer, can you sort of generally let me know what that's all about?
Judge, I did not represent her on that underlying case, so I would be speaking out of turn if I tried to tell you about it.
Ms. Navarro,
I will note that she's done a really good job on probation. I was going to ask for her to be terminated, but I understand the court's concerns. And if the court is going to do an extension, I'd ask for 3 months instead of 6, because I think she's shown she can get everything done very quickly.
Ms. Navarro, do you know what this criminal mischief charge was all about?
Yeah, I do. But I do just want to add that you mentioned that I skipped a drug test. I've never even met my probation officer, and the one time that I did is when she MTR'd me. I was under Grace Salinas, and apparently I was told by Ms. Maines that she was fired, and she's now my probation officer, and I only did one drug test with her. So I don't know where it's coming from that I've missed a drug test.
Okay, well, tell us about the criminal mischief. What were the facts on that case, Grace or Carissa?
I'm sorry, what was that?
What were the facts on the criminal mischief case that you pled to? I don't have the offense report. Can you tell the judge what that was about?
Yeah, I mean, it was, a personal issue between my ex and I. Fortunately, we're just going through.
Because okay, it's just get to specifics. What was the damage? What
I broke the windshield to the car.
Okay, and you've since taken care of all that. Okay, so there,
Right.
Judge, I think that kind of resolves the issue as far as.
That's all I need to know. That's all perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, obviously the big issue here is cocaine. Ms. Navarro, I have two options basically under the circumstances. One is to allow you to volunteer to go to the substance abuse treatment facility for 120 days of inpatient drug alcohol rehabilitation. Obviously, we're talking drugs, sure, not alcohol. And I have the authority just to send you there regardless whether you volunteer or not, but I found I just make you send there and you just sit there, you don't learn anything. If you have an interest in being able to change the way you think about drugs, this is your chance. If you don't want to do that, then jail is my only other option.
Well,
Yes,
Judge, if I could address that issue really quickly.
Sure, you bet.
So I part of the issue that I wanted to bring to the court's attention is I think she was going through some personal issues. She showed I think a dogged commitment to complete her probation satisfactorily, much more so than most of my clients, particularly in light of the fact she's done all her programs, did her community service hours. What I was going to request is, one, I do think the recommendation from probation is appropriate under the circumstance, considering the nature of the offense that she's on for. And so what I was going to ask the court to do is, I don't know if misdemeanor probation has intensive outpatient, because I think that would address the issue appropriately. And then I think one of the things Susan and I talked about, I think the request was to do weekly UAs. So what I asked the court to do is give her a chance. Like I said, this is we see these two allegations, but other than that, she's done a fantastic job. So what I was going to ask the court to do is put her on let her do intensive outpatient and do weekly UAs, and obviously put her on zero tolerance, and she'll either fly high or hang herself by her own behavior. But I think that would be appropriate under the circumstances, particularly in light of how well she's done.
Mr. Mauer, just for your knowledge, the intensive outpatient program, that course is $695 and it's 12 weeks long. Is that something that she would be able to do if the court were to consider that?
I'm sure, Carissa, you would rather do that than go to an inpatient facility for 6 months, would you not?
Yes.
Okay, and Judge, I am retained, so I'm sure that she could afford to pay for that program.
My problem is none of that addresses the use of cocaine.
Well, the intensive outpatient program would. That's
Okay.
what we're talking about. That's usually, I usually use that on felony cases.
Mr. Mauer, your argument to the court is approximately the same as, other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? We know we have a problem and we need to address the problem. Now, I understand that as defense counsel, you would like to assume that the problem is already resolved or that Mr. Navarro can resolve it with outpatient treatment. And I understand, and you're best defense counsel I know, but that doesn't do anything for me with regard to changing the way Mr. Navarro thinks about cocaine. That's my problem. Go ahead.
Well, Judge, I guess the argument I'm making here is more the measure of the response and how we address the issue on I guess what appears to be a Class B misdemeanor, where she's looking at 6 months in jail and she's done everything she's supposed to do, and we have one positive UA for, I'm not sure, I didn't check the dates if they're on the same date, but one positive UA for cocaine. And I mean, I just think the SATF program would be, I mean, I understand the court's desire to address the issue, but I think the issue can be addressed with intensive outpatient and weekly UAs, as opposed to either doing SATF, which is going to result in her being incarcerated for 6 months, or jail time for 6 months. And by doing this, she will have paid for her own treatment. Obviously, she's going to get tested weekly. And if she tests positive once, then she will have hung herself and wasted her money. So I mean, my argument would be that I think would be an appropriate response on this level of offense. Usually we use IOP on felony cases. So they do a really good job. It's intensive treatment, but it still allowed her to remain free, which I think is appropriate based on the fact she's, frankly, Judge, kicked ass on the rest of this probation. She worked hard, got everything done. Unlike a lot of my clients come in and they will have not only tested positive, but screwed up everything else.
Ms. Gross, can we adequately address the use of cocaine through an outpatient drug course in your experience and your opinion?
Historically, from my 30 plus years in this position, typically outpatient does not address the serious drug issues. However, this defendant will not qualify to go to SATF at this time because she does have a assault bodily injury case pending in County Court 13.
Is it 13 or 7?
I forget. Regardless,
7.
she has a case pending. And when it comes to assault cases, the residential facilities take those on a case-by-case basis, depending on the nature of the offense.
Okay, that's not accurate from the standpoint of, I understand the probation department doesn't want someone in SATF that's going to be pulled out of SATF to come back for court appearances in another court. As long as we get permission of the trial court judge for the other case pending, that they're not going to pull her out of SATF for any case or hearing dates, then that can be overdone. So that's not really an issue. All right, hang on, I'm looking at this. State, what's your recommendation?
Your Honor, the state agrees with probation's recommendation.
And SATF would be 4 months, not 6 months, 120 days, not 180 days.
Yeah, but there's still a waiting period.
Actually, it'd be 2 weeks right now for medical clearance, and then she goes straight in. They have open beds right now. All right, let me just come back a second. Ms. Navarro, are you working? Do you have children? What's your personal situation?
I'm not currently working. I got fired due to COVID. So I am looking currently on unemployment. At the moment, I'm not working because I just had surgery on Monday. And that's when I finally got the chance to meet with my probation officer to let her know that I am going to be under prescription pills should that count against me. So she already has that.
I guess the other question is, do you have children? Was his question.
I do not have children, no children.
Ms. Gross, do you have access to the original fine amount and other requirements of her original probation?
Yes, sir, I do. Give me 2 seconds.
Mr. Maurer, I'm going to use you and Ms. Navarro as my guinea pig. And I would love to be wrong, but the bet's going to be that she's not going to make it on outpatient, but I'm going to go ahead and give her a shot only because A, she's been a good probationer, as you clearly pointed out, in other areas, and B, you're her lawyer. And I know you will have that little heart-to-heart with her about how mean and ornery I am and how I will put her in jail for 6 months if she steps on a crack, right?
I have informed her of the court's vengeful nature when people screw up.
Judge?
Yeah.
Ms. Navarro's original fine was $250.
What a fair and reasonable amount.
And how many, 36 community service hours, what she got originally, right?
Yes,
Yes.
36,
Already done
which
those.
he has completed.
And Susan, you would recommend intensive outpatient with cats, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Navarro, on cause 648-384, the court accepts your plea of true to all conditions on the motion to revoke probation with an explanation. I grant the state's motion to revoke your deferred adjudication probation. I adjudicate you guilty of the offense of criminal mischief, $100 to $750. I sentence you to 6 months in the Bexar County Jail, probated for 1 year, a $500 fine plus court costs, 36 hours community service, a PSE course, weekly urinalysis test, community alliance or traffic safety intensive outpatient drug program. You get credit for all monies paid, all programs completed. I'm giving you a sanction of 30 days in the Bexar County Jail to get your attention, but I'm holding that in abeyance, and Mr. Maurer will explain how that works. I could just put you in jail right now for 30 days, but I'm going to hold it in abeyance and give you a chance to do exactly what you told me you're willing to do. Do we
Thank
understand
you.
each other? All right.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Gross, what did I forget?
I think that covers it, and she gets credit for everything she's already done, correct?
That's correct. And we're going to recall any bond conditions or other bad things I may have done to her on pretrial. Anything further from the state of the defense on Ms. Navarro?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Navarro, let me make crystal clear. I don't think you can do this. I would love to be wrong. I go around the DAs and I go around every day, all day long, hoping to be wrong, and we never are. So please prove me wrong this time. All right. It'll be the first time in about 45 years, but I would love to see it. So prove me wrong. Stay away from your buddies that are doing all this drug stuff, and we wish you well. But if it doesn't work out, Mr. Maurer will advise you what the outcome is going to be. Fair enough?
Yes, sir.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you, Judge.
Ms.
Maybe-
Maurer.
Okay, Mr. Maurer and Ms. Navarro, I will be sending an application and a new data sheet
Okay,
that needs to be filled out. As soon as I finish here, I'll be sending it to y'all because that needs to go to the clerk so that the clerks can send it to probation. And then Ms. Gross now will take over.
Pat,
Yeah.
can she fill that out? Can she fill out the data sheet electronically, or does she have to? Okay,
It's gonna be through Adobe Sign.
perfect. All right, fantastic. Thank you, Pat. Appreciate it. Bye,
Uh-huh.
everybody.
No, no,
Thanks,
no,
guys.
no, don't go anywhere. I'm not done
Oh,
with
you're
you.
killing me. You're killing me.
You know you love me.
I can't get off this dang computer.
Nope. All right, Ms. Navarro.
Yes,
You're
ma'am.
going to be starting probation all over again. So you have to go through the application process and you have to go through orientation again. Okay, so you need to fill out that data sheet and sign all that stuff as soon as we get off of here and they send it to you. And then probation will reach out to you within the next 48 hours to set up a orientation time. If you don't hear from them by like noon on Monday, you need to call intake at this phone number and your attorney will write it down for you if you don't have a pencil at 210-335-7446. So if you don't hear from them by Monday at noon, you need to call them.
All right.
Okay, and then
Okay.
and then you're starting everything all over. You get credit for anything you've done. You said that you're on medication. When you go to orientation, you need to let them know that you're on that medication, and then you need to send a copy of that medication to your officer so that it can be on file.
Well, I have a new probate because that's actually what I gave my current probation officer.
Okay,
I already, so is this going to be a new one that I would send it to? Because she already has.
okay. If she's already got it, then you're good to go.
Yeah, the first time that I've met her is
Okay.
the day that I gave her that.
Okay, all right. Well, as long as she has it so that it can be documented so that if you come up positive for something, it is not held against you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
ma'am.
You have any questions?
I do not. No, ma'am.
Crystal,
Okay.
we'll call you when those forms come through after I sign them, because then they'll go to you.
No problem. Thank you.
All right. Good luck, guys. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Okay, what else we got?
Pat, take us off.
That's it. We'll see you all at 2. I'll
Judge, stay here.
keep you updated. I will also send you paperwork that I've gotten, Your Honor.